Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're going to be teaching you how to set up and some general rules for Tales from the Loop, the board game. This will be the first video in a two-part series, so be sure to come back for the second video to learn everything else you need to know to play. A scenario card is chosen at the beginning of the game, which contains specific setup instructions and tells you which diary cards to use. The bottom-up scenario is going to be the one recommended for your first game. And as you can see, there is some information here for the story, and then all kinds of setup information here on the bottom half of the card. It also tells you the loss condition here in the black section. You can see it says start with diary card B1. The diary cards are the heart of the narrative in Tales from the Loop. The win-loss condition is going to be determined by the diary card currently in play. As the game begins, players usually don't know how to win that scenario and have to discover the win conditions through play. Often this can take 1 to 2 weeks worth of play, which is 6 to 12 rounds. Insight and Enigma are tracked with these two dials. Generally, they'll play a large role in most scenarios. Insight is normally represented by something that benefits players, while Enigma is something that makes things worse. New diary cards will be added throughout the game, depending on the choices the players make. By following the leads on the diary cards and by investigating rumors on the island, the kids will gradually reveal the mystery and learn how to deal with that mystery and win the game. It's important to remember that the text on diary cards always takes priority over regular game rules, and they often can change how Insight and Enigma are gained. However, if the diary card has not adjusted that rule, the following are the default rules for gaining Insight and Enigma. If the player succeeds at a test laid out on a rumor card, and that rumor card is of the rumor set listed on the scenario card, as you can see, rumor set is the robot, and there's the robot face right there, then the player gains 1 insight. It's important to keep in mind that the rumor set is not all the rumor cards that will be in the scenario. As you can see for bottom up, the rumor cards will consist of both the robot and the VHS tape rumor cards. If a player fails at a rumor card, and this can be any rumor card, not just the rumor set, then Enigma is raised by 1. If the player is ever forced to push a rumor card off the board, then Enigma is raised by 2. Some rumor cards may have effects that directly raise Insight or Enigma. These results will be in addition to the rules I just mentioned. So let's take a closer look at what the board consists of before we get into setup and gameplay. As we've mentioned, we have the calendar right here, which keeps track of a 2-week period, with each day representing a game round and the weekend representing 1 game round as well. We have the Enigma and Insight meters over here. Any location with a white border is an open location, and any location with an orange border is a restricted location. Any location with this red bus sign is a bus stop. The entire board is broken down into sectors labeled with alphanumerics, as you see here. So this would be A1, A5, C5, etc. The scenarios will have different event tiles placed out. For instance, this one would go right here. You can see it matches up the terrain. And this one is used in Bot Amok, as you can see here. Any sector that has this C symbol, like here and here, over here as well, any of those sectors are called C sectors, and bots will not enter those sectors. The school is located here at location M. The school draw deck will be placed here and the discard pile here. The rumor deck is here and the rumor track is here. To set up the game, make sure the Enigma and Insight dials are both at 0. Place the calendar marker on the first Monday. Each player chooses the character they want to play and takes their character board along with their trait tile. The trait tile has one side for 2 to 3 players, one side for 4 to 5. Place it on the appropriate side and then place it in its spot. Each player takes 6 time cubes, their standee, a black favor cube, and place it on the smiley face. Each character has an iconic item. For Nils, it's the lowrider bike, and for Sasha, it's the cereal cable. They receive that iconic item. Then the rest of the item deck is shuffled and placed nearby. At this point, players should randomly determine their scenario or choose a scenario. And as I mentioned earlier, if it's the first time you're playing, it's recommended you play Bot Amok. Using this scenario card, place the bots out in their starting sectors. So the Powerhoofer goes to F8, the Fire Guard C7, and the Watchdog A4. It's important to notice that the bots do not go in locations, but rather on an entire sector. Also, place out the indicated event locations, in this case, G. A machine is considered nearby a location if a location intersects with any part of its grid. So in this case, the Powerhoofer is nearby Morby. If a machine starts nearby an open location, as this one does, you take its response card, use the yellow routine side, and place it face up. The Fire Guard is also nearby an open location, and so it will be using the routine side of its response card. It's important to keep in mind that you are not using the erratic version unless told to do so. If a machine does not start nearby an open location, it will instead start with the alert side of its response card. Next, take the starting diary card, in this case B1, and place it near the board with its red A side facing up. In order to not spoil the narrative, it's important not to read anything other than the part of the card that is facing up. Keep the other diary cards nearby. Take all indicated rumor cards, in this case the VHS tapes and the robot faces. You can see the symbol found here near the center of the card. Take all the rumor cards with those symbols and shuffle them into a rumor deck and place it in the rumor deck draw pile. All other rumor cards can be returned to the box. Shuffle the school cards and place them here. Take all the firewall tokens and place them in an opaque container or face down near the board. One at a time, draw rumor cards and place them face down starting at 1 and going through to 4. If you draw a duplicate letter that's already on the track, set it aside and then continue drawing. Once all 4 spaces are full, shuffle any duplicates back into the deck. Then place a rumor token this side up on all locations that have a rumor card currently on the track. Each player draws 2 chore cards, reads them, and chooses one to keep, returning the other one to the deck. Shuffle the chore deck and place it near the board. Shuffle the anomaly deck and place it near the board. Place all character standees at the school, which is location M, and then place all other tokens, cubes, and card piles within easy reach around the board. Finally, the player who last saw an 80s movie is designated as the first player. Whenever the rules describe something adjacent, they mean connected by a line. So for instance, M is adjacent to L, J, and N. With regards to machines, the term nearby is used, which we've briefly mentioned. As a reminder, a sector, which machines are always in sectors, not on locations, When a sector intersects a location, as you can see, F8 intersects location N, then a machine in that sector is nearby that location. Sectors are adjacent to other sectors, but it's always orthogonal. So F8 is adjacent to F7 and E8, but it is not diagonal. So F8 is not adjacent to E7. A game of Tales from the Loop is played in rounds, and each round, as we mentioned, is represented by a day on the calendar. And each round will have 3 phases: the school phase, the adventure phase, which will have kids venture out to all the different locations on the islands, and the end phase, when the kids must make it home. As we've mentioned, scenarios may use event locations. When a student is standing at that location, they can perform the special action. Each player takes control of a kid, made up of a character board, an iconic item, 6 time cubes, and whatever else the current scenario dictates. This character board displays all the important information about that kid: the kid's name and a short description, their home and iconic item, an action space here where time cubes are placed as they're spent on actions, a action list that lists out the different actions a kid can take for easy reference, the kid's character traits. The top one is the kid's strength, which provides extra dice for any test of that type, and the lower one is their weakness, which instead reduces the number of dice rolled and also blocks the kid from participating in help actions that involve that trait. It should also be noted that the kid's entire character board is the color of their strength for easy reference. Favor is used to track the current mood of the kid's parents. There are 4 negative conditions. They make it harder for the player to take actions by limiting their time. And they also apply other penalties as well. Kids will likely obtain anomalies throughout the game. They may carry any number of these. These can be used according to their special action or as a combo. Kids may carry at most 4 different items, including their iconic item. They can use, trade, or discard regular items. The iconic item may not be traded, but it can be discarded if an action card declares it. The time pool is officially kept beside the character board, though I like keeping it on the character's portrait. It is made up of 6 time cubes. The kid spends time to take various actions. When the pool is empty, the kid cannot take any more actions. Anytime the game indicates a roll needs to be made, it is always connected to one of the core traits: brave, clever, charming, quick, and tough. Each of these also has a corresponding weakness. The opposite of brave is skittish. The opposite of charming is dull. The opposite of clever is dense. The opposite of tough is weak. And the opposite of quick is slow. Now let's take a closer look at the machines. The name of the machine is found here. The alpha or beta designation is found here, which is only found when there are 2 of the same machine in a game. You see this one has alpha. This matches the stickers that come with the game that are placed on the base of duplicate machine minis. This icon indicates that this side of the machine card is used for 2 to 3 players, and this side for 4 to 5 players. This is the class symbol, and the machines belong to one of 4 classes: Worker, Warden, Watcher, and Warrior. This is where the response card goes, and the response card is either Routine or Alert. Also, the machines have erratic response cards that also have Routine and Alert, and will be used when indicated by a scenario. If the machine is hacked, the player gains access to this combo, and they can then use it as an action instead of a dice roll. Movement is used when the machine has been hacked to see how many sectors the machine can move when taking the machine ride action. This is the machine's transport capacity and is used when the machine has been hacked to see how many kids it can bring along from one location to another during a machine ride action. Any special rules or abilities for the machine are found here. And this is the firewall track where firewall tokens are placed to indicate the required tests during a hack. Tracks can consist of up to 5 spaces. Also, if a scenario ever has a larger creature roaming the island, for rules purposes, these are considered machines, even though some of them might be more organic in nature. And that's the setup and some general rules for Tales from the Loop, the board game. Be sure to come back for part 2, where we will cover all the other rules you need to know to play the game. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.